Teraz powinno być zdecydowanie lepiej. Teraz powinno być mnie słychać. Zapominam, bo to się zdarza za każdym razem, kiedy Windows postanowi mieć aktualizację. Nie wiedzieć czemu. Windows nie jest w stanie, mimo iż doczekał się już 11 wersji najmniej, nie jest w stanie ogarnąć aktualizacji bez zmiany źródeł dźwięku i to w programach wszystkich, absolutnie. Bo na disco jest dokładnie ta sama historia, więc wybaczcie. Zaufajcie mi, że serdecznie Was przywitałem i zacząłem wywód na temat uwagi arbuzowego, który wspomniał, że jest ciemno za oknem na start streama. Nie wiem, czy pamiętacie, ale streamy przygodówkowe mają to do siebie, że przez część roku zaczynają się o 18, przez część roku zaczynają się o 16. To w te miesiące letnie zaczynamy o 18 z tego powodu, że światło przez okno świeci mi prosto w twarz, ale zaraz o 16 będzie już ciemno, więc pewno poczynając od listopada przeniesiemy się na godzinę 16, więc będziemy zaczynać 2 godziny wcześniej. Ale o to się będziemy martwić w przyszłym tygodniu. Jeżeli taka zmiana zajdzie, to na pewno ją odnotujecie na rozpisce. Do obiadu po ludzku. Dokładnie tak. A propos formalności, to ufam, że macie już za sobą odcinek 314, który mieliśmy przyjemność nagrać dla Was w dniu wczorajszym. Widzę, że dobrze się klika, więc ktoś go na pewno już słuchał. Nie zapomnijcie proszę wejść na YouTube'a, zostawić łapkę, komentarz, polajkować, pośledzić cały ten szabank, wszystko co się da. Natomiast my zaczynamy dzisiaj w ramach serii przygodówkowej nową grę. To jest gra Sherlock Holmes, Case of the Rose Tattoo z serii The Lost Files of wspomnianego Sherlocka Holmesa już. Gra czy seria doczekała się dwóch tytułów. To jest ten drugi z kolei, wykonany w odrobinę nowszej technologii, w cudzysłowie, bo zdigitalizowanymi bohaterami i tłami renderowanymi w 3D. Poprzednia część była, nazwijmy to, rysowana. Opowiadałem już kilka razy, że Bardzo chciałem zacząć od pierwszej części, natomiast ta pecetowa niestety nie ma nagranych dialogów. Wersja z dialogami wyszła na FreeDO. Próbowałem na emulatorze FreeDO grać, ale obsługa myszki na tym emulatorze jest niemożliwa. Fani też, nie ma ich tylu, podejrzewam, nie zdążyli się jeszcze zabrać za stworzenie takiej quasi wersji łączącej dialogi z FreeDO z funkcjonalnością i wersją z PC. Może się tego doczekamy, wciąż wierzę w to community. Zaczynamy więc od drugiej części z 1996 roku. Jak mówię, powstały tylko 2 gry z tej serii.
To jedyny prawdziwy detektyw.
Dzięki Quarku za 20 zł. Tex Murphy, zgadzam się, to bardzo dobry detektyw. Mam nadzieję, że wrócimy jeszcze do niego, bo zdaje się, mamy za sobą tylko Under a Killing Moon. Ale wracając do kwestii Sherlocka Holmesa, firma, która odpowiedzialna jest za tę grę, stworzyła tylko 3 gry, 2 z Sherlockiem Holmesem, trzecią, o której tytuł mnie nie pytajcie, bo z ręką na sercu nie pamiętam. Gra jest z 96 roku. Nie głosujemy na następny tytuł. Postanowiłem, że tym razem to ja wybiorę autonomicznie następną grę. Sherlock pewnie zajmie nam cały listopad, więc chciałbym, żebyśmy w grudniu mieli tą przyjemność grania w absolutnego bangera, absolutnego pewniaka. Jeszcze nie wiem, co to będzie, waham się, mam kilka tytułów na krótkiej liście, zobaczymy. Ja się natomiast na moment zamykam, odpalamy Sherlocka Holmesa i wracamy do dyskusji krótko po intrze.
Let's go! Pound on and steady! Extra, extra! Read all about it!
We could set the clocks by you, Mr. Holmes.
Regular in small things only, Forbes. Now, when my brother arrives, please send him in.
Very good, sir.
"5 million souls in London, Watson, and not one of them needs my services. An entire week without work. It's intolerable, absolutely unendurable. Perhaps I can find something diverting in my room. At least I'll escape your censorious glances."
Holmes, I protest. Your personal habits are no concern of mine.
Stuff and nonsense, Doctor. Your eyes tell a different story, as if I'd stolen from the alms box. Enter.
This just came for you, Mr. Holmes, by bonded messenger, no less.
Thank you, Mrs. Hudson. You are a treasure. Hello, it's from my brother. This is most welcome.
Please join me at the Diogenes. I require your energy, judgment, and discretion. M. A rather brief note to elicit such a smile. Whatever can he want?
Who knows? He's as furtive as a Freemason and as ingenious as Babbage. But a chat with Mycroft at his club is sure to be diverting. He may have work, or he may need help identifying a rare tobacco. Grab your hat, Doctor. We're off to one of the queerest spots in London.
Lead on, Holmes.
Good evening, gentlemen. Mr. Holmes is expecting you.
Thank you, Fox.
Holmes, no, don't!
Mycroft, mortally injured on account of a gas leak. Such accidents don't happen to people one knows. When I read careless match levels, 5 flats in Camden Town, or omnibus splatter 6 in the Brixton Road, those unfortunate persons are known only to God. I defy you to name a single soul who has been victimized in this ridiculous fashion.
Lestrade says such explosions are the price of progress. I suppose he has a point.
Mycroft, on his deathbed at Bath, sacrificed at the altar of progress? The inspector is insensitive and a congenital idiot.
Calm yourself, Holmes. Perhaps your brother will disprove the diagnosis. Why do you suppose he asked you to the Diogenes?
Perhaps he enjoys my company. Some people do. It was as likely a trivial matter as something momentous. He was like that.
Should we try to discover the cause of his summons?
What possible significance can it have to me or to him? He is lost to me. Forgive me, Watson. I prefer solitude just now. I have no heart for work. I'm no good for use or ornament.
I'll find a way to distract your grief, my friend. Perhaps Lestrade has some work for us. This much is certain. London always suffers from your idleness, and you are a danger to yourself.
I chyba jesteśmy w grze. Gra ma różne, balans dźwięku rozbity na całe spektrum, więc ufam, że teraz jest znośnie. Słyszycie i muzykę, i dialogi. Jedna rzecz mi się podobała, nie wiem czy zauważyliście, jak tylko wybuchł ten gaz w tym klubie, czapka Watsona kapelusz Watsona spadł na bok i to był taki moment, że chciał po nią sięgnąć, ale w końcu machnął ręką, stwierdził, że nie będzie jej podnosił. Bardzo mi się to podobało. I jeszcze jedna kwestia, zwróćcie uwagę, jak wolno bohaterowie się poruszają. Gdybyśmy mieli polegać, nie, to nie jest Sherlock, to jest dr Watson. Gdybyśmy mieli polegać na tej prędkości poruszania, to byłoby ciężko, ale z racji tego, że gramy na Scambi, to zdaje się kombinacja Ctrl+S powinna przyspieszać trochę, tak. I z powrotem cofać, dobra, tak, czyli niektóre animacje mogą wyglądać nienaturalnie, ale przez to przynajmniej odzyskamy możliwość płynnego poruszania się. Dobra. Zbadajmy jeszcze, jak robi się... A, dobra, mamy save'y w Scambi. Świetnie. Cudownie. Tak lubię. Czyli chrapanie jest powiązane z voices. Okej. Okej. I co my tu jeszcze mamy? Inwentory. Okej. A, czyli bohater nie komentuje tego, tylko dialogi między bohaterami są mówione. Okej. Tabako. Co to jest? Timetable? Aha, rozkład jazdy. Okej. I liścik z zaproszeniem od Mycrofta. Okej, dobra. Szkoda? Tak, trochę szkoda. Okej, czyli to jest jakaś wiadomość od posłańca. Okej, ale nic z tym nie mogę zrobić. Nie mogę. Okej. Okej. Wiggins? Okej, czyli ktoś śpi w tym kiosku. To u mnie ktoś chrapie, tak.
Wiggins lad, are you awake?
Wiggins, ale ten dzieciak chrapał, to ten gówniarz tak chrapał, to sorry.
Just barely. What's your heart's treasure, Doctor?
My what?
Your pleasure, sir. What do you want? You
Piękne,
got a job for me?
piękne
I
akcenty.
see. A rhyming language, is it? No job at present. It's late, my boy. Will someone miss you?
Mr. Jonas keeps me better than me ma would have done, if I'd knowed her. Something you wanted?
No, I'm sorry. I'm not quite myself. Mr. Holmes' brother has been injured.
Rotten luck. Her bed, is he?
Yes, and Mr. Holmes is inconsolable, unable to work.
Worse luck. Sitting makes the sadness stick.
Exactly my thought. I want to reinvigorate him, find something that will challenge his intellect.
Odd job. Mountains for most as molehills to him. Inspector Lestrade's often sniffing hereabouts. Maybe the yard needs help.
Keep a good thought, my boy.
Podoba mi się Wiggins.
There is one thing you might do to help Mr. Holmes, lad.
Name it.
If he leaves 221B, shadow him and notify me. He is not himself.
Watch him on the sly?
Your expression is incomparably apt. Has Mr. Rigby been about?
He's at home, dreaming up what goes into his newspapers. Sometimes he reads it to me. He's going to teach me someday.
Fajny nagłówek. Queen kisses Kaiser. Okej, czy już nie mamy z nim nic do pogadania? Możemy mu dać kasę? Nie. A, czyli w ten sposób się nie... Bo teraz jak się... Inwentory... Money... Nie, może tylko look money. A jak się komuś daje coś? O, dowiemy się w praniu. London's most extraordinary citizen lives in rooms behind this pedestrian portal. Okay. Fajny język. Baker Street to u nas. Czyli mamy solidny kawałek Londonu. Dobra, Baker Street. No to widzę, że tylko Scotland Yard jest dostępny. Pięknie. Okay. O, można w 3 karty grać. Okej, czyli ten koleś jest policyjnym informatorem.
What's the good word, Augie?
Out alone, are we, Doctor? Like to turn your hand to a game?
Oh, I don't really feel up to it.
Ah, the calamity at the Diogenes Club, say no more. Mr. Holmes beyond consolation, I assume.
He is dispirited, as am I.
Very sorrowful to hear it, I'm sure. What about some free card Monty to improve your disposition? It's a game of skill.
Not the way you play it, I suspect. I'd like to get into the yard. Can you help me?
I can lighten your cares and your wallet.
can you distract the constable?
No go, Doctor. He's a clever and vindictive brute. You're just a visitor here. I have to make my living.
Okej, fair enough. On nam nie pozwoli. Teraz się wszyscy odrobinę za szybko ruszają, ale przynajmniej dzięki temu dr Watson chodzi szybko. Okej.
Constable, I'd like to nip in for a word with Inspector Lestrade.
Impossible, sir. Your local station can handle any police business.
This is a personal matter. Mr. Holmes often assists the yard, and I...
Save it, sir. It's nothing to me. Just move along.
Perhaps you could direct me to someone with more authority?
I'm Lord Master of this pavement, sir. Now mind the sign and push off.
Czy on nie wie, kim ja jestem?
Inspector Lestrade may have matters that require my friend's attention.
Move on, sir. We don't want any rough stuff, do we?
To już mi grozi. Okej, czyli nie. Ogi, na pewno nie pomożesz?
If you've ideas of how I might get inside, I beg you to give them up.
3 ways to my knowledge. They're yours for half a crown.
Put it on my account. Speak.
Commit a crime, marry Lestrade's sister, or change your name to Holmes.
Lovely. Perpetrate any of 3 felonies.
Beggars can't be choosy.
No, they're allowed to throw their money down a rat hole. The half-crown ought to buy what you know the Diogenes Club explosion.
The police say it's an accident. That's no surprise.
You have reason to disbelieve them?
Chyba mu
Reason
zapłaciliśmy
don't
za
enter into it. It's an
informację,
easy
co?
call. Who's to say them no? But the truth's worth money, and they ain't asked for an halfpenny. Beware of free information, Doctor. Might have been some terrorists about, for all you and I know. I heard there's some about.
Any more bright ideas, Augie?
None that I think you'd pay for.
Nie, czyli tak się nie daje pieniędzy. Nie wiem, jak mu zapłacić. Znaczy, wydaje mi się, że Watson mu i tak zapłacił za tą informację. Czyli może w wyniku dialogów, może przedmioty się pojawiają w dialogach, kiedy da się je komuś dać.
I believe I heard a young woman call for help. Shouldn't you investigate?
Your ears is better than a blind man's, but I'm afraid she's on her own. I got me orders.
Please let me pass. I'm Sherlock Holmes' colleague. Surely you recognize his name.
Of course I do. Round here enough, isn't it? Like he owns the place. But if knowing him was a ticket, I'd have half a Newgate prison inside.
Lestrade's Christian name is Giles. Only his intimates know that. I must speak with him.
Show off, or I'll have you before the Bow Street magistrate.
Party drań.
Constable, have you heard anything of interest about the explosion in Pall Mall?
If you're looking to employ Mr. Holmes, that dog won't bark. The Diogenes case is closed. Fire brigade said it was a gas leak.
But sometimes, Constable, men in your high position, men with great authority, hear things. I'm sure you take my meaning.
Well, one lad did remark on the damage, with so little gas being laid on and all.
And?
Said it looked like the club was bombarded. Some club members insisted on going inside, and they were shocked to their shoes at the damage.
Pracownikiem jest
I
dobry,
did
nie?
hear that Mr. Mycroft Holmes had regained consciousness at Barks. Much improved. Now please, sir, move along.
To Mycroft w końcu jest martwy, czy nie? Bo Holmes na początku mówi, że to były śmiertelne obrażenia. Teraz potem wywnioskowałem z rozmowy, że Watson mówił, że jednak może z tego wyjdzie. Teraz z tego, co rozumiem, policjant też mówi, że Mycroft może przeżyć. Okej. No dobra, to spróbujmy gdzie indziej pójść, co? A najpierw spróbujmy zrobić save'a. Może się pojawiły inne lokalizacje. Może ten klub albo... O, jest coś nowego. To jest Baker Street, a to jest klub, to jest Dionizesa. Kolejny bramkarz.
Constable, might I have a look inside? The interior is available to those holding proper credentials. Credentials? Surely you recognize me, Daly. I'm Sherlock Holmes' colleague. Yes, Doctor. My orders is that what's
Cześć,
left of
proszę.
the club is off limits to all but official personnel and Diogenes members.
Trochę to jest przykre, bo dr Watson jest jakby drugą połową tego duetu, a to jest już druga osoba, która mówi mu, że bez Sherlocka to on jest nikim. A, czyli pojawiają się kontekstowo nowe opcje, to można przejrzeć ten. Jeszcze ciepły, ok. Diogenes to ten fizjonom od beczki, ok. Właśnie dziwne, że tu był wybuch gazu i wciąż...
If you touch that torch again, we're going to have a problem. Not that you could do anything but burn your hand. I'll assume you considered the safety issues.
Okej, czyli pewno tą donicę uszkodzili strażacy, jak wchodzili. Coś jeszcze tu jest? Może coś się nowego pojawiło? I są.
Constable, why is the fire brigade still here? Looking for more leaks, sir? Well, in that case, shouldn't these torches be extinguished? It was the brigade what lit them. They know their business, I suppose.
Szkoda, że za każdym razem trzeba rozpoczynać, czy wywoływać opcje. Tak długo jesteśmy w dialogu, to wszystkie opcje po zakończeniu jego kwestii powinny się na nowo pojawiać, żebym ja mógł swoje wybrać. Trochę to jest...
I tried to see Inspector Lestrade at the yard, but I couldn't get in. That's hardly my fault, Doctor. No, but I thought good intentions might carry some weight. The thought don't count for much, contrary to the old saying. If you're not
Nie
a
wiem, to
club
pożasty,
member,
nie
I'm
zajrzałem do
afraid I
instrukcji, przyznam się.
Really, Daly? I'd just like a peek inside so I can give Mr. Holmes a report. I never pegged you for a thrill-seeker, Doctor. Whatever do you mean? There's naught to view except the devastation. Place is in ruins. One geezer was carried clean away, another fighting for his life at Bart's. Scenes of disaster excite some people, perverts.
Perverts.
Mr. Holmes is most concerned about the condition of the club. It's a bloody shambles. Targets of artillery practice look better. Part of the roof and west wall are blown out. The stranger's room is completely gone. It didn't even have gas laid on. If I popped in for a moment, I could reassure him that things have been handled expeditiously. I'm sorry, Doctor, but there's nothing more to be done. Now let's not have any trouble. I'm begging you, Constable. I must have a look inside.
It can't happen, Doctor. Club members is the only civilians allowed. Them's my orders. Stay here
Them's
if you
my
must, but
orders.
you can't cross that line.
No dobra. To jeszcze powinniśmy mieć możliwość... O, a to się w drugą stronę się jeszcze... O, jeszcze wschód jest cały. Tu jest stacja, wszystko. No. Szpital. Mimo już samowystarczalne, to dość przydatne, fajne. Okej, to samo. Tak. Napis sugeruje, że matrona pomyliła szpital z miejscem kultu. Okej. Okej. Tak, to oddział pulmonologiczny jest ewidentnie. No dobra, pogadajmy z nią.
Matron, might I look in on one of your recent arrivals?
This is not Christie's picture gallery. We have procedures here, visiting schedules, discipline, and so on.
Dźwięki są piękne, prawie tak dobre jak dialogi. A widzisz, fajne, bo ktoś był w kolejce i zawołali go na zabieg.
My name is John Watson. I once worked here.
I recall. Skillful, but unattentive to hospital regulations. You've put on weight, Doctor. It doesn't suit you.
Ah, yes. Thank you, Matron. You're looking very well.
You'll become a Wimpole Street hack, no doubt. Or do you keep a surgery for pampered women on
Nic nie
Harley
obiecuję, to
I have a
perzesty.
general practice in Paddington and...
Paddington? I might have guessed. Well, if you'll excuse me, Doctor, some of us have work to do.
Są wszyscy są tacy, no nie wiem, brytyjscy?
Why are those people being treated in the mezzanine?
They are indigent and unable to meet my hygienic standards for placement in the luxurious privacy of the new ward.
If they have communicable diseases, isolation in a private room would be sound practice.
Which shows how little you care for hygiene and the value of a pound.
After Bart's, I served in the Army Medical Department. I was wounded in India.
An army medical, I'm not surprised. I always say, those who can, do. Those who can't, do take government service.
O wow, ale mu pocisnęło.
Matron, I'd like to see Mycroft Holmes. I'm a close friend of the family.
But you're not his physician. I can't allow the new intensive care ward to be breached by just anyone off the street.
I'm hardly that. Must I apply to the director?
Visitors are my province. If you have time to waste, apply by all means. She'll return from Paris in a week or two.
Matron, I entreat you, let me see Mr. Holmes just for a moment.
Doctor, he is comfortably ensconced in the new ward. And Sister Grace must not be distracted from his care.
I'm pleased that you are maintaining hospital order with customary efficiency. I've always admired that.
Persiflage will not serve you, Doctor. As you have no business here, be grateful that I haven't had you forcibly removed.
Thank you, Matron. I won't forget your kindness.
Don't abuse it, Doctor. Now, I have work to do.
Super są te dialogi. Nikt nikomu nie pomoże, Wszyscy są dla siebie niegrzeczni, ale w możliwie najbardziej kulturalny i grzeczny sposób. Skróty F5 Journal. Włączmy. A widzisz, nie. Przy kontrolę przejmuje z Canvy. To ciekawe, jak wywołać ten journal. A, to może być. Mam nadzieję, że to nie będzie problem na jakimś etapie. F4 inwentory. A widzisz, pod F4 mam opcję. No dobra, a ten tutaj gada?
Sir, how long have you been unattended in this wretched hall?
For bleeding ever, if you'll excuse the expression. No one tells me what's going on. I'm like furniture.
Ten brzmi jak Muppet.
Is the new patient ward far from here?
Miles away, I've heard. I've never been, thank God.
Why do you say that?
Well, Matron keeps a few special cases there, but mostly it's terminal ones. Morgue's close by, you see. Long as I'm out here, I can't be too sick.
Proszę panią.
Is Dr. McCabe still the staff coroner?
He is.
As I'm here, I'll just pop in and pay my respects. Will you sign me in?
Seeing you're professional, I record it. The morgue only, mind. Don't make a nuisance of yourself.
No i Myciander, znalazłeś co to? Okej, dobra. A, w ten sposób się
Don't
wchodzi.
dally in the halls, Doctor.
O, dzień dobry. To mi nic nie pomaga, Kane. Znaczy przez to, że on nie czyta nie komentuje swoim głosem tych opisów, to nie będę kłamał. Rzucam tylko okiem na kluczowe wyrazy, ale ignoruję. Mam nadzieję, że to nas nie ugryzie potem w tyłek, że opisy są fajnym dodatkiem, ale mam nadzieję, że wszystkie wskazówki są przekazywane w dialogach i to jest raczej gra w dialogi, bo jeszcze nomen omen żadnej zagadki nie było, nie? Jeszcze nie było żadnego przedmiotu, użyj tu, przesuń tutaj. Wszystko jest na zasadzie pogadaj z tym, to potem pogadaj z tym, obejrzyj coś. O właśnie, oglądanie jakichś elementów triggeruje kolejne dialogi, które pchają grę do przodu.
Greetings, McCabe. You're well, I hope. Might I have a word? Hello, Doctor. A word, by all means, but not much more. I'm rather busy with a subject from the Diogenes Club conflagration. My God, that's not Mycroft Holmes. No, he's in the new ward. This is Sir Hubert Fortescue. You didn't know the old fellow, I surmise. Well, now you never will. Was there anything among the old man's effects which marked him as a member of the Diogenes? A lapel pin, for example? His wallet contained only money, no personal items, no jewellery, no watch. Older people frequently disdain such items. Might I ask what your examination of the old man has revealed? I'd like to satisfy your curiosity, but I may say nothing without official authorization. My report will be circulated at the inquest.
Ach, yes.
Might you divulge the cause of Sir Hubert's death? I nearly witnessed it. I'm sorry, Doctor. Without authorization, I'm obliged to keep silent on that subject. As a professional courtesy, you may view his clothes if you wish.
O, tak, chcemy.
As I recall, there was a circuitous passage from here to the old patient ward. Can the new ward be likewise approached from here? Nothing simpler.
But, Doctor, a cynical man might suppose the purpose of your visit was not entirely social. I admit it, McCabe, I'm sorry. Matron flatly denied my request to see Mycroft Holmes. The passage is open. Through that door and straight along. But she will not be pleased to learn that you have circumvented her authority. I'll take the chance. Better you than me, Dr. Watson.
Okej, czyli już wiemy, że możemy tędy przejść do... Nie, hospital entrance, patient ward, dobra. Ale on coś wspominał jeszcze, że można przejrzeć te przedmioty znalezione przy tym ciele. Bo to też jest nieboszczyk z tego lokalu, z tego wybuchu. Okej. Co, to wszystko? W sensie nie ma rzeczy, nie pojawia się nic innego kontekstowego, jest tylko Luke. No dobra. Jakaś muzyka by się przydała, nie? Nie wiem czemu. Okej, jest. Oh!
My dear fellow, I had no idea. How are you, sir?
Always as comfortable as can be, poor dear, though we won't say so.
Żaden Spyro, wciągnąłem się, to dobra gra jest. Ewidentnie. Czy to jest Minecraft, czy to jest Minecraft?
I had no idea Mr. Holmes' injuries were so extensive. What is his condition?
Tolerable, though we won't answer a direct question and rattles on most peculiarly from time to time. However, the party you address is not Mr. Holmes.
No właśnie.
I beg your pardon?
The gentleman in white is not Mr. Holmes. Mr. Holmes is in bed 3, as you can see for yourself.
Ah, yes, of course, to be sure. Has Mr. Holmes said or done anything that you can tell me about?
Mostly he's a lamb, Mr. Holmes is. And if he continues to be a good boy, I'll give him another dose of morphine.
I think he has had quite enough medication.
Gentleman in white. Okej. A tej książki nie da się w szczegółach obejrzeć? Nie ma, brakuje jego pierścienia i jest naćpany, okej. W sensie nafaszerowali go. Tutaj nic nie zostało na tym night table. No dobra, spróbujmy z nim porozmawiać.
Hello, Mycroft. It's John Watson. Sister treating you well?
What's that? Who's there?
Oh, Doctor, fine. Flit on, cheering angel.
She is not. I mean, tin shoes.
O nie, on ma ten ring na sobie.
I'll tell Sherlock you're in good hands.
Please, don't interfere with the patient, sir. No touching. very unsanitary.
Czy wzięliśmy ten pierścień? Nie. To może trzeba ją wyprosić stąd.
Has Mr. Holmes said or done anything that you can tell me about?
Mostly he's a lamb, Mr. Holmes is. And if he continues to be a good boy, I'll give him an...
I think he has...
To już było. Co zrobić, żeby ona sobie poszła? Empty water glass. Może przynieść, czy siostra może przynieść wody? No nie, dobra, to pogadajmy jeszcze z Minecraftem.
Sherlock's in a funk, sir. I'm trying to revive him. Can you help? Ask me to be he who kills a misery. Not free to be, don't flee. Where's the key? A former tree. Who's the key? What? How? Treachery. Mendacity. If he's free, he should see if I have the key or I ought to be. You just might see conspiracy. Privacy.
Oh, it's a terrible thing to hear a grown man speak drivel.
If you don't mind, sister, I'd appreciate a bit of privacy.
Well, excuse me, I'm sure.
Czy siostra może się... O!
Will you please bring Mr. Holmes
Cześć,
some
Buczo.
fresh water?
I mustn't leave the ward. My patients depend on me.
Please make an exception. I'll watch your patients. I'm a doctor.
Very well. Anywise, I'm perishing for a cup of tea.
Ale spieprzyła, naprawdę jej się nie chciało tu siedzieć. Ale mów, teraz będziemy mieli ten ring.
I'll try to put this to good use, Mycroft.
A, ten pierścień to może być ten pierścień z tego klubu. I teraz nas ten bramkarz wpuści. Dobra. Dzięki, Mycroft. Jak się stąd wychodzi? Przez drzwi, no brzmi logicznie.
You took your time, Doctor. I was about to send out a search party.
Thank you, matron. As always, you are the soul of civility.
Dobra. Gdzie to było? Scotland Yard. Klub. Mhm. Więc teraz jak się robi? No właśnie, jak się daje komuś przedmiot? O. Aha, teraz się kontekstowo się tutaj pokazało. Czyli trzeba być w odpowiednim miejscu, żeby na przedmiocie, który jest w inwentory, pojawiała się jakaś kontekstowa opcja.
Why didn't you say you was a member? Save us both some aggro.
Okej, to się nie otworzy. Możemy to postawić z powrotem? Nie, nie możemy. Minecraft, ok. Szkoda, że się robi cicho, w sensie muzyka przestaje grać w konkretnych miejscach. Jak się zmienia lokalizację, to gra, a potem nagle przestaje grać. Dobra, teraz Co tutaj znajdziemy? Nie, to po prostu muzyka. O, tu jest coś. Dodatkowo cicho jest, bo znów on nie gada nic. May have held jewelry or snuff. It appears to have once had a cover. Okay.
The magnitude of human tragedy is not
jest
measured
komentarz.
by the numbers who endure it. A simple, solitary, displaced possession of a particular man is most affecting. Are there other such signs about?
Czemu tak o wszystkim nie możesz mówić? Wszystkiego, w sensie komentować. Dobra. To jest chyba to pomieszczenie, przez które Minecraft przechodził, nie? Kiedy bomba wybuchła. Może u Ogiego też można zapłacić z menu kontekstowego? Może.
No need to take unnecessary risks. That pile of rubble could collapse at any time.
Co to było? On coś podniósł? Nie. Clock face. Czyżby ten...
Intriguing. This residue reminds me of some bad business I saw in the army.
Czyżby ten zegar dziadkowy był też elementem bomby? No bo nie wierzymy chyba w ten wybuch gasu, prawda? Tak, weźmy to na dowód.
Dr. Watson, you should be ashamed of yourself. You'll have to get out. None but authorized persons are allowed.
Horrible mess, no?
Yeah, horrible mess.
Constable, I may return with Mr. Sherlock Holmes in tow. Suit yourself, Doctor. With any luck, I'll be in my bed.
No dobra, chyba mamy dość interesującą sprawę, żeby Sherlock się nią zainteresował, co? Pebbles? Gówniarz znowu śpi. Dobra. Sprawa, tak, brzmi jak sprawa dla Sherlocka. A to co jest? Czy to jest strzelał w te VR? Co to jest VR? Halo, Sherlock? Halo, darling, you home? No i gdzie on jest? Co też to jest? Fireplace? Czy to jest jakaś wiadomość przypięta do... Trochę burdol, nie?
What is it, Doctor?
What might I do for you, Holmes? How may I help?
Make yourself scarce, Doctor. If I'm to grow fonder of you, your absence is required.
What are you up to in there, Holmes? Nothing unsafe? No unhealthy behavior?
I've tried recalling how sorrow has affected my acquaintances. Evidently, I lack the compassion to have remarked their reactions.
Please do not burden your sadness with unwarranted self-reproach.
Forgive me if I cannot accept your kindness, Doctor, or feel that I deserve it.
Ciekawe, czy jak już Sherlock dołączy do tej jednoosobowej drużyny of Me, ciekawe, który z nich będzie wiodącym. Czy do końca się gra Watsonem i Sherlock po prostu łazi i podpowiada? Czy się przełącza między nimi? Czy przyjmuje się kontrolę nad Sherlockiem, a Watson to jest taki
I've gathered some
tutorial?
intriguing tidbits about the Diogenes explosion. Perhaps you'd like to investigate them.
Much obliged, Watson. I appreciate your effort, but do not exert yourself. I'm not sure I even want to hear them.
Not interested? I'm bound to say, Holmes, your behaviour is irrational. I never thought I'd see the day.
I won't be goaded into better humour, Doctor. I am dejected by Mycroft's condition and furious about my inability to help him. But I have not lost my mind, just my energy.
Tak, Kups, myślę, że w chłodne dni mogą tu leżeć razem zawinięci na tym niedźwiedziu przed kominkiem. Lap table. O, jest use lap table.
The clock face residue looks suspiciously like something I saw in India. If I'm right, I'll do more than engage Holmes' attention.
Okej. Czy to wystarczyło? Bo bałem się, że osobiście trzeba coś robić. A może trzeba robić. Zaraz zobaczymy, bo są takie gry. W Freddym w Parkasie, nie? Tak było, że trzeba było ważyć
I've been thwarted, Holmes. Only you can help sort out my confusion.
Appeals to my vanity will not serve you, Watson. A confusion suggests a surfeit of information. You lack even a bare sufficiency for me to evaluate.
I have an interesting hypothesis.
You might recall that one demonstrable proof is worth more to me than myriad suppositions. I do not act on guesswork.
Fajny ten Sherlock, nie interesują go żadne wskazówki. On chce, żeby Watson do niego z gotowcem przyszedł.
It's been suggested that terrorists may have ignited the Diogenes.
That sounds like one of Augie Trimble's nuggets, Watson. It falls just short of being completely absurd. I hope you didn't pay for it.
Not much. Have you considered the possibility that some sort of foul play caused the conflagration?
Doctor, I'm truly touched by your efforts to engage my attention, but please confine yourself to reality. Mycroft was felled by a real explosion, not a hypothetical one.
That's very pompous. You sound more like Lestrade than I would have thought possible.
Sadness constrains the imagination. Incidentally, if anyone accuses you of having a supportive and sympathetic manner, mark him as a liar.
Good news, Holmes. I'm pleased to report that Mycroft is intermittently conscious.
That's some comfort.
Granted he's burned and battered, and the combination of concussion and morphine has caused delirium.
A summary would suffice, thank you.
He's sporadically cogent. I asked how Nurse was treating him, and he responded, "Flit on, cheering angel," and something about shoes. Peculiar answer, but an answer nonetheless.
If you imagine that you can engage my attention with an anagram, you are mistaken, but I'm grateful for your report.
I saw Sir Hubert's corpse, Holmes. There were no obvious signs of concussive damage.
Of what interest should that be to me?
I expected massive excoriations, arterial bleeding and discharge from the ears and nose.
And you observed?
Save some singeing on his forehead, his condition was excellent. He might have suffered a fatal coronary.
And so he may have. I attach no significance to the manner of his death.
Fajnie, jakby cała gra była przez
Some
drzwi z Holmesem.
investigators reported that the Diogenes appeared to have been bombed.
I'm not surprised. They may have done military service. To understand something capricious, they equate what they don't know with what they do. It's quite natural, but such analogies have limited value.
The stranger's room was most badly damaged, and it didn't even have a gas line. What if a bomb did cause the explosion?
Who ignited it? How? And why would anyone target the Diogenes? It's ridiculous. Most improbable. There would be evidence, and the police, ninnies though they may be, would surely have found it. Wouldn't they?
I may have the means to provide the demonstrable proof you require.
Your speech is uncharacteristically obscure, Doctor.
Dobra, spróbujmy jeszcze raz z tym. O, proszę.
I think if I warm a sample in a sulfide bath, a black precipitate would provide confirmation.
Oh, shit. Okej. Co on powiedział, że chce podgrzać to? Okej. Podgrzejmy to. Masz książki? No właśnie nie można na żadną książkę kliknąć. Jak to podgrzać? Ty, to jest film. Okej. To co? Robimy miksturę, co? Okej. To się dało. Wciąż nie można. Czy to jest teraz kwas? Co myśmy wlali? Sodium sulfate. To jest chyba kwaśne, nie? Scalpel, scissors. Okej, scraper, w sensie część tego proszku z tego clock face'a, co miałeś z chemii. Zdałem. Teraz podpalić. Okej, czyli to jest tak na szczęście, że nie można namieszać, tylko można próbować wszystkiego z wszystkim po prostu. Jezusie, co się stało?
What in blue blazes was that? Are you trying to kill us?
I'm trying to satisfy your partiality for proofs, and I wanted your attention.
You have it.
My experiment confirmed that residue I recovered from the Diogenes was explosive fulminate. A gas main was ruptured, it exploded, but that explosion was caused by an incendiary device.
Let me gather my thoughts, Watson. I am beginning to suspect a strange and peculiarly terrible chain of events. And, Doctor, thank you for showing me my duty. Fulminate of mercury. The black precipitate is decisive. Mycroft felled by a bomb. Damnable villains. An outrageous and unconscionable act. The misbegotten maggots. If I had them before me, I could not be trusted.
Have you been ingesting
Mogli trochę lepszy kadr
stimulants, Holmes?
zrobić,
Let
a
me have
nie,
some
że
tea
widać
brought
go
up.
tutaj.
I'm as sober as Carrie Nation,
Połowę.
Watson, and more
Ten
determined.
fragment jest
Let us get
niepotrzebny.
on with it. I will have the fiend.
Okej, dobra. Mogli zrobić teraz tak, no. Czyli teraz gramy Holmesem. Okej. Options, to zróbmy sobie save'a. Czy Watson szydełkuje? Tak wygląda trochę, nie? Albo ma kota na rękach, nie wiem co on ma. Watson wygląda trochę jak ten za chwilę dalszy ciąg programu. Pamiętacie traperów z Nadwisły? Jak oni się nazywali? Grzegorz Wosowski. Tak, Grzegorz Wasowski. Tak, to trochę jak on wygląda. Wasowski był dobry. No dobra, Watson. To teraz ty mi musisz chyba przekazać komplet tych informacji. O, jest journal, czyli teraz czyli Watson jest naszym żurnalem i on chyba pisze. A czy on zapisuje wszystkie dialogi? Dobra, text not found, ok. Ja byłem w szoku, że to nie oni napisali budynek na 100 km. Tak, budynek na 100 km narodził się w głowach innej ekipy. Dobra, Watson, zbriefuj mnie.
Did you receive any assistance from Scotland Yard?
I never got past Constable Burns.
Obstructive moron. My brother is nearly killed in a vicious assault and you can't even get in to see Lestrade.
Don't let anger dim your wit. The Yard is ignorant of our Diogenes discovery. That's a good thing, as you would ordinarily be the first to say. We don't yet know what variety of foul play we're dealing with.
Your pardon, Watson. My anger at the would-be assassins has made me muzzy. I have a fierce thirst. Only justice will slake it.
I think you mean revenge.
So be it. They are the same to me now.
Okay.
Have you begun your journal entries, Doctor?
Any matter in which you take an interest may have enduring public consequences.
Bardzo dobrze. Notuj wszystko.
Your investigative efforts expose several productive leads, Watson.
But no obvious starting point for our inquiry. They say a good beginning ensures a good outcome.
We are not so credulous to think so. There is more here than a common attempted murder.
So I surmised.
The matter will not admit of a simple resolution, but I will not rest until the wretch responsible for this outrage against my brother is punished.
Sprawdzę to bunkier, na pewno.
There is a matter I should like to put to Inspector Lestrade.
Can the Yard assist in our inquiries?
Expectations are low, and your point about official ignorance is well taken. The inspector has neither need nor capacity to know what we know. Still, his title might become the rough water we'll confront. What items might have assisted your own inquiries, Watson?
The bull's eye wouldn't have been amiss, and a nimble brain would have helped.
The former is here somewhere. We can secure it. The latter is more than sufficient. Don't troll for compliments, Doctor.
Okej. Jeszcze coś?
Did you collect other evidence at the Diogenes that might assist us?
I couldn't perform a proper search. It's dark as Guinness in there. The damp and unstable conditions didn't help, and Forbes was about.
Yes, he will complicate matters, but the damage to the rooms may be of interest, and there may be other physical evidence we must return eventually. You know my methods, Watson. It is the scene of a crime.
Okej, wszystko. Czy coś stąd możemy zabrać przed wyjściem? Bo rozumiem, że musimy iść do Scotland Yardu nadrobić. Teraz nas wpuszczą. Desk. No. O. No tak sobie przejrzał. Ok. Przejrzał sobie. Ok. To jest chyba źródło światła. Tak. Latareczka. Coś jeszcze? Hair trigger pistol. No. Tego nie można wziąć? Oczywiście, tego nie można wziąć. Przebierzemy się, czy się automatycznie przebierze?
Take your pistol, will you, Watson? There's no telling what this case will bring.
For once I am ahead of you, Holmes. It is in my pocket.
No nieprawda, bo leży na biurku. Chyba że ten jest po prostu, ten należy do Sherlocka. No, mamy teraz jak malowany Sherlock. Dobra, zrobimy sobie save'a. Podoba mi się ta gra. Nie wychodź. Teraz będziemy oglądać, jak się przebiera animację. To nie tak miało być.
Come along, Watson. The game's afoot.
Quite so, Holmes.
Quite so. Ale fajna gra. Swego słowa nie dam o niej powiedzieć. Dialogi to oczywiście połowa zabawy. Teraz zróbmy save'y. A to nie jest nasz nasz posłaniec. To ktoś inny jest.
My compliments, Mr. Rigby. The early bird gets the worm, what?
News don't wait on a slugabed, Mr. Holmes. I'm sorry about your brother's misfortune. Government can't afford the loss. What are his prospects, sir, if I might ask?
His condition is guarded. Your concern is appreciated.
Well, the best of British luck to him. And pardon the banner, I'm obliged to display it.
You must make your living, Jonas, as must we all.
Okej. Dobra. Do yardu. Cóż za muzyka.
Hello, Oggy. Anything doing?
Not enough. Give people what they want and where's a thanks. But I'll forget my manners. Condolences on your brother's demise.
Your expression is premature. Mycroft is alive.
Oh, but near death, surely. I have it on the best authority.
Your source is impeachable. Demand a refund. What more have you heard about the Diogenes Club explosion?
A working stiff don't have time
Nie,
for
on
idle
w rządzie
chatting, Mr.
chyba
Holmes.
pracuje, co?
Even
Jest jakimś
surmise
wysokiej rangi
On
funkcjonariuszem
principle, I never
państwowym.
purchase information. Perhaps you can suggest how we might overcome this.
Tak mi się wydaje.
Indeed I can. Ante up a shilling and we'll play a little free card Monty for the tidbit. Best 2 out of 3. You win, the info's free. Lose, it's yours for 10 bob. Eh?
What? Oszust.
Contrary to the adage, Oggy, the hand is not always quicker than the eye. Yours is prosecutably slow.
Have a heart. Keep it to yourself. Here's a nugget. 2 hard Irish lads was in the city, both of them familiar with the niceties of gelignite
Może być
and
on.
mean enough to use it. Trashing a fancy English club might just suit their fancy.
Names? Whereabouts?
No names.
Suppose I tell the police that this game has never been on the square and that you've nicked them all.
No need to get violent. I heard those boyos was looking for a party name of Boyd something. A coal miner, I heard. That's all I got, I swear.
That may be what the police call a lead. I have to be somewhat more discriminating. Oggy, are you always plying your dubious trade?
The rich can afford to rest, Mr. Holmes. A poor man must make brass where he can.
As you seem to appreciate a platitude, you might reflect on the one that declares that there is no rest for the wicked.
Możemy go zwolnić. Oj, teraz się będzie ruszał odrobinę wolniej. Ale Sherlock będzie też chodził bardzo wolno, więc wolę mimo wszystko, jak jest szybciej. Dobra, to chyba wszystko, nie? Z nim. On chyba nie ma brody, on ma chyba tylko te PKS-y.
A quiet watch, Constable?
Cześć,
I prefer it, Mr. Holmes.
I'd like a word with Lestrade.
You're not alone, sir, but the inspector is engaged, and he's left particular orders not to be disturbed even by you.
No to nawet Holmesa nie wpuści?
The yard seems quite deserted. What's the reason?
Lawful folk are at home, and the criminal classes see I'm on duty. I'm always on duty. Haven't had a tea break in donkey's years.
Nie wiem, ile to jest donkey's years, ale Ewidentnie długo. Dobra, chyba musimy wkopać Ogiego.
Is Augie still schooling you at three-card Monte?
The man's an unnatural wizard. I never win. I swear he could retire to Blackpool on the brass he's taken off me.
It's a mug's game, Constable, but nobody wins all the time. You want to know the secret to Augie's success?
Only slightly less than the Ripper's real name.
Might I see Lestrade on the strength of it?
The door is yours. Once inside, you're on your own hook.
Fine. After Augie manipulates the cards, tell him to move away from the table. Say that if your card is not one of those face down, he's in for a stay at Pentonville. I guarantee you'll start to recoup some of your losses.
He's been bombing a card, then.
Some secrets are just too tawdry to tell, Constable.
Czyli sprzedał kumpla. No, pięknie. No, co tu się dzieje? Pod autobus go wrzucił. No, dokładnie tak. Neatly put together all dear. Okay. Confident. To jest Lestrade, tak. Kto to jest? Królowa Wiktoria. Siedzi. Okay. Klikam wszystko, co można zobaczyć, żeby potem mieć wszystkie rozmowy odblokowane. To wszystko? Chyba wszystkich kliknęliśmy, nie? To zacznijmy od tego.
Sergeant, might I have a word with Inspector Lestrade?
You might, Mr. Holmes, if he were free, but as you see, he's not.
Dissipating his meagre talents on trivialities, no doubt.
You'd know best. If you wish to wait, you may take a seat.
Fajnie, że nie można z nim rozmawiać wtedy, kiedy on przez telefon rozmawia.
When might Lestrade be available, Sergeant?
I couldn't say, sir. She's been burning his ear for a longish spell and shows no sign of weakening. I got tongue-lashed for interrupting.
What's her problem?
Claims her brother's being wrongfully detained. Flapdoodle, of course. But the inspector's going the extra mile. There being allegations of high-handedness. He may see Gregson looking over his shoulder if you take my meaning.
How's the family, Sergeant?
Down with the grip, Mr. Holmes. Terrible cramps. I'm far from tip-top myself.
Sorry to hear it. Might I speak with Inspector Gregson?
Of course. And might I say, sir, how sorry I am about your brother. It's out of human hands, isn't it? Terrible business, these gas explosions.
Yes, thank you, Sergeant. I'll just pop over to Gregson.
Mr. Holmes, Doctor, what can I do for you?
Has there been any news concerning the fire at the Diogenes?
The brigade confirmed our suspicions, sir. A spark of unknown origin ignited a gas main. The explosion was a regrettable accident.
What is regrettable, Inspector, is that the brigade doesn't possess the brain power to perform simple logic. As long as the cause of the spark remains unknown, the ultimate cause of the fire cannot be otherwise.
Ha, 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 ha. A, czyli z Watsonem też są.
Police
dialogi.
bureaucracy is perfectly suited for certain types of work.
What types are those, Holmes?
The tedious, the repetitive, the fatuous, the unimaginative, and the squalid.
As that covers most criminal activity, it's a wonder you stay busy.
Drop the sarcasm, Doctor. I'm determined to be angry with the police. If I am unreasonable, I expect you to humor me. May a patient's maladies be diagnosed from their ravings?
A specialist might be able to.
I'll wager alcohol plays a part in this episode.
Is it
O tym
current
mówią,
drink,
tak?
a history of abuse, or a seizure?
It's a fair question.
Note the particularity of his tics and gyrations,
They are suggestive.
and the alterations of his complexion.
An even better observation. I have
Marynarkę ma
been as previous as the police. The man is ill,
z innych
some form
czasów
of
chyba.
epilepsy perhaps.
You appear discomfited, Watson. Is there a problem?
Do not concern yourself, Holmes. The draft is wreaking havoc on my sinuses. Simply makes me feel more thick-headed than usual.
Is there anything here to detain us further, Watson?
If we don't talk to Lestrade, did we not waste our time?
Słuszna uwaga, Watsonie.
How can we talk to the brute and not get arrested, Watson?
We can wait and watch our hair turn grey, or help his current victim along.
Does Lestrade have anything to add to the brigade's report?
Doubtful. He has several cases running and was eager to close the book on this one.
Typical, always the easy way.
Well, he's not as acute as he was, and compassion is not a strong point, but our workload is quite overwhelming.
If the man is overworked, let him say so. Platitudes merely mask incompetence and lack of imagination. The callous numbskull.
Holmes, please, moderate your tone. Well spoken, Mr. Holmes, if you'll permit me to say so.
Can you give me authority to investigate this Diogenes business?
That I can't, Mr. Holmes, and it pains me to deprive you, but Lestrade is in charge. I can't interfere, I'm sorry.
Do you credit the rumor that Irish hooligans are abroad in the city?
If you're suggesting that terrorists are behind the Diogenes explosion, Mr. Holmes, I can't encourage you.
What if there were evidence of a bomb having been ignited?
If you have such evidence, I want to see it. I'd want to know where it was found and why it was not turned over to the office. But I believe there is no such evidence. The Diogenes is not their sort of target.
Tell that to my brother.
I think that's enough, Holmes.
Okej, dobra, nic więcej nie mam do powiedzenia. Mam wrażenie, że tu po prostu jest gra w porozmawianie z wszystkimi do momentu, aż dopchamy się do Lestrada. No.
Sergeant, why is that man being held in the lockup?
Nutty as the proverbial fruitcake, as you can hear. He's waiting for a lift to St. Mary's.
What is the delay?
That woman claims he's nut bunkers. She says he's sick.
She is indubitably correct, but how sick and from what? Sergeant, I believe your prisoner is ill.
There's no doubt about it, Mr. Holmes. Mentally defunct, I'd say. Criminally insane. No telling what he'll get up to on the loose.
I think not. He's an
Chyba inny
epileptic.
typ choroby.
Dr. Watson will support my observation.
Well, I'm loath to contradict you, Mr. Holmes, but your say-so just don't cut it in this instance. The bloke's loopy.
Blocks lupi.
Sergeant, has the elderly female party become a permanent fixture?
You might say, Mr. Holmes, she used to char here. Now she thinks we're guests in her parlour. Haven't the heart to disabuse her.
Blocks lupi. To jest tak.
Sergeant,
Przestańcie
are you
pierdolić o
familiar
jakichś
with the
chorobach, on jest po
Encyclopedia
prostu lupi.
Britannica?
The greatest collection of folk learning on earth, my dear pa always said.
That as may be, I believe its articles on medicine are considered authoritative.
Next to God, they're all the truth there is, sir. Pa said so.
If you'd like to save the inspector's reputation from careening downhill and protect the yard from litigation for unlawful arrest, you should know of the latest research on epilepsy. Pay special attention to the sections on grand mal and psychomotor seizures. That man is sick.
Jensen, the man in the lockup, may be epileptic. Look up grand mal seizures in the EB and convey your findings to Inspector Lestrade.
Right away, Sarge.
Chyba Chyba się udało.
Have the incarcerated gentleman cleaned up immediately and release him to his sister's custody. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Holmes. Another scandal here would be damaging.
No, pięknie. Wygraliśmy to.
Sergeant, might I speak to Lestrade, please?
Of course. Inspector, Mr. Holmes to see you. Mr. Holmes, doctor.
Tak, bo wcześniej kategorycznie nie można było krzyknąć do niego przez tą niepenetrowalną przeszkodę, czyli ten półmetrową błazerię, tak?
You're finally ready to resume your duties, Lestrade?
I appreciate your assistance on that medical matter, Mr. Holmes, but the arch tone is out of order. What can I do for you?
Evidently nothing, even though there is more to the Diogenes disaster than the pathetic official examination has divulged.
Suspicions are your trade, Mr. Holmes. Proof pays the bills in police business.
Proof? I'll give you proof. If your people...
We wondered, Inspector, if...
I'm perfectly capable of speaking for myself, Watson.
No co masz do powiedzenia, Watson? Może to jest wskazówka? Nie. Fajnie jakby się wcinał, jakby miał do powiedzenia coś faktycznie, co mogłoby skierować dialog w inną stronę, nie? Albo dać sugestię, jakiej opcji użyć.
If you won't investigate the explosion
Takim
further, you might at least assist
podpowiedzią
me.
mógł być.
Give me carte blanche at the explosion site and the morgue. Something sinister is going on, Lestrade, if only you had the wit to see it.
I will ignore the insult in deference to your fragile emotional state. If you want to waste your time, I won't stop you. But you'll excuse me if I don't squander my department's resources to gratify your overdeveloped and theoretic suspicions.
Without well-founded supposition, Lestrade, reason staggers and the mind dies. You might remember that.
Dobra, mamy. No dobra, mamy. Coś jeszcze? Lestrade?
Will you provide some police protection for my brother?
Don't push, Mr. Holmes. We've had a mutually advantageous relationship over the years. I'd hate to... Thank you, Inspector. Shall we leave, Holmes?
Chodźmy. Możemy wrócić do klubu. Mamy teraz przepustkę. Klub był tutaj, tak.
Forbes, I'd like to go inside. Please assist me.
Until further notice, sir, the club is closed to members and guests.
I'm not here for a scotch and soda. I wish to examine the premises.
Impossible. Only authorized representatives of the constabulary are allowed inside.
What are you playing at, you deluded martinet? You...
Your attitude is deplorable, Forbes, but I suppose I must oblige you.
Okej, no mamy to wejście, zaraz mu pokażemy. Najpierw zrobimy save. W sensie mamy przepustkę od policji. No i co?
I'll honor the inspector's request. The yard, CID and all. Respect for authority is the cornerstone of civilization. Must maintain discipline. Would have preferred a personal appeal.
Indeed, I'll tell him you felt slighted. He's sure to be mortified.
No, czy już mogę wejść? Czy jeszcze będziesz? No i jak się wchodzi?
Did you happen to spy any suspicious persons lurking about earlier?
I tolerate no loitering on my watch, Mr. Holmes. Members don't like it. If I so much as sniff a tradesman, I move them along sharpish.
Okej. Że Sherlock co innego znajdzie. No, chyba nie. Co? NCO z husarów bengalskich, czyli służył. Okej.
My brother wondered if the fire brigade might have missed anything.
Nothing, Mr. Holmes. You've come in vain.
Any items or circumstances that seem not in accord with a gas explosion?
The brigade is satisfied that there's no evidence to the contrary.
Any odd or personal effects discovered?
No, nothing of a private nature has been removed from the club. I'm sworn to protect members' property and I will perform my duty.
Good man.
Were you badly injured in the explosion, Forbes?
A flesh wound, Mr. Holmes. It's of no significance.
Always the good soldier, what? Where is your wound?
Let's say in the vicinity of my nether regions.
An ex-soldier wounded on his backside. Probably has not improved his disposition.
Let's not belabor the obvious, Doctor. Forbes, what happened after the explosion? Did you notice anything unusual?
I was stunned. Not myself for a few moments.
You saw no one on the street when you revived?
No one except yourselves.
Let's not tarry, Forbes. We'll go in now.
I warn you that it's dark and nasty inside.
That suits my mood down to the ground.
And I remind you, touch nothing.
Brandy. O, jest sample. Bardzo dobra brandy. No i szkoda, że tutaj znowu nie ma. Że tu znowu nie ma muzyki.
Has anyone worked on the gas lines in the last day or so?
Checked and bled by Midlands last week. All in perfect order. Like Inspector Lestrade says, gas accidents are the price of progress.
Depend on Lestrade for a cliché in lieu of exercising his brain. The Lectio Facilior is fine for paleography, but it won't do for logic. The man's reasoning powers are abysmal. Do you remark anything odd about the entry, Forbes?
Well, it's burned and soaked with water, isn't it?
I mean, anything unexpected?
No, the place is a mess. I'll have to clean it up.
Abysmal. Tak, to też jest ładne słówko. Dobra, on już nic. Czy to musimy obejrzeć te same rzeczy, które wcześniej Watson oglądał, tak? O, examine, smell. Czyli to snuff, tytoń, tabaka. Tak. Lilac and oleander. Ładny zapach musi być. Box pick up.
I've asked you not to touch club property. Put that back, if you please.
Forbes, my brother's snuff box is not included in your purview. Do not make yourself an unbearable nuisance. Watson, where did we find Mycroft exactly?
It was just here, Holmes, beneath his portrait. You swept him up in your arms as if he were a child. Your
Czy opium kiedyś nie było popularne,
Adrenaline,
to
Doctor. Danger animates and strengthens as often as it paralyzes.
Ale myślę, że było tak, że to mogły być czasy, kiedy jeszcze było szerzej dostępne.
Impressions, Doctor?
It is difficult to be very observant in such conditions. I am surprised by the uneven nature of the damage. With a few structural exceptions, the easily flammable object suffered most.
Very astute, Watson. Mycroft never travels far without his snuff box.
Must have fallen from his pocket when he was struck down.
Unlikely. His other personal effects were undisturbed by the explosion.
What is your hypothesis?
Any speculation would be less than idle. I imagine it was blown in from somewhere. The lid might tell a story. I'll keep the box as a memento.
Okej, no zbadajmy tamtą drugą salę. Słyszałem, że się zawiesiła gra.
Forbes, the lounge appears wrapped in morning bombazine. It hardly matters. There's nothing to see.
You'll excuse me if I should come to a different conclusion.
Suit yourself. Remember, touch nothing. Club rules must be enforced. Even in...
Please don't put yourself out. We can get on by ourselves.
You may think so. It's my job to monitor the activities of strangers.
Podoba mi się. Tak, to perzasty. Mi też się podoba. Fajna jest.
Are you guarding the perimeter, Forbes?
This seems the best vantage point, Mr. Holmes.
Considering the upper story could collapse at any moment and crash down on our heads.
What? Oh, right, yes. Out of harm's way. Very unstable. Another reason to touch nothing.
I don't suppose you have a bullseye lantern, Forbes.
As it happens, I do not.
I'm not surprised. Fortunately, we are not dependent on your effects.
Wolałbym mimo wszystko, żeby opisywali.
Watson, what do your feline orbs espy?
Outlines, Holmes. No real details. The smoke plays tricks with the light.
Pewno trzeba będzie się pobawić tą latarką.
Touch nothing, Mr. Holmes. I'll have to charge your brother an assessment.
Was your clock face near the grandfather, Watson?
It was, Holmes. How did you guess?
You know my methods, Doctor. I do not guess. I observe. I deduce. Anything of significance, Watson?
Not that I can see, which isn't much.
I'd like more of what you found, or your skill in finding it.
I wouldn't call it skill, Holmes. It was dumb luck.
Most men's modesty is a sham or an excuse, Doctor. Your modesty becomes you.
Dobra, wszystko. Podoba mi się, bo nie ma głupich, w sensie, no przygodówki to są jednak przeniesienie przedmiotów, połączenie i tak dalej, ale tu nie ma żadnego głupiego moon logic, żadnych na siłę zagadek. Chodzisz, oglądasz przedmioty, oglądasz je, wyciągasz wnioski, rozmawiasz z ludźmi, nowe informacje trafiają do ciebie, otwierasz kolejne dialogi z kolejnymi postaciami.
Were any of your own possessions lost in the blast?
Not that I know of.
Historia się rozwija w dialogach.
Have you found something of mine?
I'm not certain.
Okej, dobra, chodźmy dalej. Aż tam musiałeś pójść? Sherlock. Brass chain, okej. Najbardziej zniszczone pomieszczenia, z tego co oni mówili, to tu nawet gazu nie było, nie? W tym pomieszczeniu. Więc to jest coś jest faki. Mhm.
I've asked you not to touch anything, Mr. Holmes. That's club property.
Something jest, no, something is, no jest, tak. Dokładnie tak. Wreckage. Całą ścianę wywaliło.
Mr. Holmes, I've told you, touch nothing.
Touch nothing. Okej, to jest ten sam tekst. Nawet te tła 3D wyglądają na kompetentne. W sensie nie wyglądają tak sterylnie, jak miały to do siebie te obrazy, te tła 3D generowane w pierwszej połowie lat 90.
Watson, do you have a bullseye? It's as dark as a rent collector's heart over here.
I don't have mine, Holmes. Battery's gone. What do you need?
I'd like to shed some light on the situation rather than curse the darkness. Did the fire brigade uncover or remove any personal items from the room?
They briefly combed through the debris, discovered ashes, wood, splinters, broken bricks.
A simple no would suffice. I'm reasonably familiar with the language. Did Sir Hubert expire in his chair?
The old gentleman was lucky. Never knew what hit him.
Lucky? Is there any predicate to murder victim more inept than lucky?
You can't prosecute the gas board for an accident.
Spare me your opinion, Forbes. He was murdered as surely as if he took a bullet to the brain. Have Sir Hubert's people been notified, Forbes?
He had no family, Mr. Holmes. Outlived them all. The Diogenes was kith and kin to him these many years. Good tipper he was. I'll miss him.
Your sentiment is touching.
Dobra, coś tu mowa była o latarce, nie? Okej, tylko teraz jak jej użyć? No, Myciander, jak długo ta gra trwa? Nie wiem, czy po prostu czegoś jeszcze nie przegapiliśmy tutaj w tej stercie. Statue. O, handle. - 25 godzin? No nie, no come on. Bez przesady.
I put it to you, Forbes, that before the explosion a man entered the club carrying a valise.
No one could enter the club with a case without my notice. I am responsible and trusted.
Your competence is not at issue, Forbes, but I promise prevarication will
Jaki
ruin
dźwięk?
you. Now, could anyone have entered the club with a case?
A stranger did come in while I was at my tea. Saw his head and shoulders as he walked to the lounge. Average sort of youngish gentleman, presentable. Had flat eyes like an animal. His party must have been out because he left a minute later. He's the only
Jak ma być?
possibility,
O co
Mr. Holmes,
chodzi?
I swear.
Thank you, Forbes. That's very satisfactory.
Co jest nie tak? Tak? Ciągły wysoki dźwięk? Nie słyszałem nic. Boję się robić... w sensie nadal trwa? Tak? No to wyłącz, jak mówicie. Zobaczymy. Nie chcę serować na 2 miejscach, jakby się okazało, żeby się zaciął na obu. Okej, tylko teraz jak ten... Tylko czy to intro się da skipnąć?
We could set the clocks by you, Mr. Holmes.
Regular in small things only, Forbes. Now, when my brother arrives, please send him in.
Czy to się liczy jako witam? Nie, to na wasze życzenie jest. Ale moment, jak się skipuje, to... O, dobra, jest. Dobra. Czy już chodzimy szybko? Dobra. Teraz załadujmy. No nie ma dźwięku. Tak jest dobrze? W sensie ja tam nie słyszałem żadnego dźwięku, ale jak wam przeszkadzało. Może tutaj. Co to za pudełko? A, snuffbox, ok. Nie było, to musiało coś u ciebie być toperzasty. Beam.
I could move it with my shoulder, but it's not worth being crushed by the falling rubble.
No to u wszystkich się u was zepsuł stream. Jak mam tej latarki użyć? Dobra, zagadajmy z Watsonem.
Come, Watson, let's carry on.
If we must, Holmes. This is a deuced gloomy place.
These timbers must be hewn.
I'm no lumberjack, Holmes, and we have no saw.
There's more than one way to fell a tree.
Dobra, Watson, chodź mi pomóż.
I could move it with my shoulder, but it's not worth being crushed by the falling rubble. I could move it with my shoulder, but it's not worth being crushed by the falling rubble.
Okej. No i on mówi, że on tu przyjdzie.
Watson, might I have a word?
What is it, Holmes?
Do you see a way to dislodge that particular beam without loss of life or limb?
Remove it from a distance. But Forbes will be unhappy if you interfere with that pile.
Then he must be distracted. Watson, I was just thinking of that embalmed armadillo.
Do tell, Holmes.
The military implications are momentous. Impenetrable armor plating, low to the ground. Indefatigable diggers. Perhaps they could be bred larger and taught to fire a cannon. I'll get on to the War Department, shall I? You might analyze the shelves. Was the destruction of the book selective or random, based on Babbage's principle of non-discriminating violent action?
As you say, Holmes.
Excellent, Watson, excellent.
Just a moment, Doctor. I'll superintend your activity. Mr. Holmes appears to have gone daft.
Dobra, teraz chodźmy. Okej. Czy teraz damy radę? Sami? No nie, wciąż nie wiem, jak to zrobić. O wow. Ale wymyślili. The view is less than illuminating. Okej. Słyszę cię.
Here's the little darling, unexpected and therefore most interesting, but an expert would find it even more illuminating.
Okej, tylko co? Spring. Okej, no co ja z tym springiem zrobię? Lounge, to się jeszcze gdzieś się pojawiało Stranger's Room. Czy całe to pomieszczenie to jest chyba Stranger's Room, ale... To jest wszystko? Co tu jeszcze jest? Czy to była część, jak ta zębatka to jest część bomby? Spring, okej. No dobra, no chyba wszystko. O, wrócili.
I believe we exhausted the possibilities of this location, Watson.
I hope that you have taken more away from here than I. The fumes are making me woozy.
No dobra. Chyba wszystko. Dywan. Dobra, czy panowie jeszcze mają coś do powiedzenia? Nie. Nie, dobra, to tutaj chyba wszystko. Pójdziemy odwiedzić naszego brata w szpitalu.
I hope you're satisfied. You'd be the last to know, Forbes.
Harvester, no streamują Harvestera, bo to jest bardzo halloweenowa gra, ale ja bym tego nie streamował. To jest dość niebezpieczny tytuł do streamowania.
A highly satisfactory foray, Watson. We have not been wasting our time.
I hope you have something to support your assertion. I shouldn't like to have endured that bore's company for nothing.
You'll see at a more convenient moment. Is there anything here to detain us further, Watson?
I wish I could answer with some assurance, Holmes.
Okej, dobra. Do szpitala. I tutaj, proszę Państwa, zrobimy sobie przerwę. Zasejwujemy. Tak. Podoba mi się ta gra. Podoba mi się, to jest bardzo dobra gra. Sure you want to quit? Jest. Bardzo dobra gra, bardzo mi się podoba, co nie znaczy, że chciałbym z nią spędzić 25 godzin, jak to było sugerowane na jakimś walkthrough, ale wydaje mi się, że to jest mimo wszystko krótsza gra. W sensie nie przyznam sobie przygodówki, która trwałaby 25 godzin, ale Sherlock Holmes jest super, miałem wątpliwości, jest fajny, bo stoi dialogami, po śledztwo prowadzi się oglądając dowody i rozmawiając z ludźmi, zdobywając informacje, a nie łącząc ze sobą w głupi sposób głupie przedmioty, co jest dość odświeżającym elementem. Jeżeli tylko nie będzie labiryntu, który będzie sztucznie wydłużał długość tej gry, to mamy kandydata do jednej z lepszych przygodówek, w jakie miałem przyjemność grać. Także dziękuję Wam bardzo za dzisiejszą obecność. Mam nadzieję, że już przesłuchaliście albo planujecie to zrobić w dniu jutrzejszym. Mam na myśli wczorajszy odcinek podcastu. No i oczywiście zajrzyjcie na socjale w dniu jutrzejszym, bo wskażemy Wam daty i tytuły streamów na przyszły tydzień. A ja się w tym momencie z Wami żegnam. Bardzo dziękuję i do zobaczenia w przyszłym tygodniu. Trzymajcie się, pa.
Thank you.